Okay. Whew. These bastards in this hellhole are mean as fuck. Here's a video, I haven't watched it yet. I don't know how much I'm going to watch. The two videos before I went to bed about 80 years of UFO shit, right? That they haven't been sharing with anybody. It's like, 80 years. Wouldn't it be 70 years? Because it was Roswell with the... So it was even before Roswell. So that means you guys were doing that shit and fucking with that shit you shouldn't be fucking with back around the time during and after World War II then. So if it's 80 years, then it was 1946, after World War II, that you guys, because they were all experimenting with wormholes and time travel. And if he wasn't such a horn dog, we'd all have time machines, right? What's his name? Albert Einstein, right? And so, the whole UFO stuff and advanced technology and stuff like that could be stuff with wormholes. With people from alternate universes fucking shit up. It's entirely tangible. I don't know, though. Don't look at me. I'm not a scientist and I'm not an expert and I'm not a mathematician, super mathematician person. And I don't walk around gyms with a 32 kilogram mop trying to humiliate guys that are twice my size, right? Because these guys they have different genetics and they're very swollen, they're very big, right? And he's not very swollen, he's very strong, but he's smaller. But he uses real good form and he can lift weights better than a lot of these guys. A lot of them are doing it improperly. And they can't be told what to do because they're very, very big, all right? So he goes and he humiliates them to get them to follow his weightlifting program so he can make lots of money off of it, right? And I watched it and I kind of chuckled. And the one guy got mad at him and he said, "You saying you're stronger than me?" And he made him prove it to him. He put the weights on and said, "Do it." And after he did it, he went, "Okay, all right." The biggest guy, right? But the biggest guy got mad at him because he was sitting there laughing at him, trying to humiliate him. And the guy said, "Yeah, okay. You're saying you're as strong as me?" And he got mad because he's like, you're sitting here making fun of what I'm doing. You have to be very strong to do what I'm doing. And he's like, so he grabbed the plates, put more on there and said, "You're saying you're stronger than me, prove it." And then the guy does it. And then the guy says, "Wow, you're right." Okay. He was real pissed at him at first. He was very, very angry. But the moment the guy proved it to him, the guy looked at him and said, "You are correct." Okay. It wasn't like Ashton Kutcher and Anthony Davis, The guy was really pissed, and he was like, "Well, you fucking prove it then." He grabbed the plates, he goes, You lift this. You're saying you're stronger than me, prove it to me. I want to hear all this coming here laughing at me talking shit. Right? He didn't say that, he was much more polite. But he was mad. You could tell he was very, very mad. Because the guy was coming and mocking him and making fun of him. And I don't know if he did the mop thing where he handed him the mop and the guy's poof, because it was a 32 kilogram. And the guys are explaining to him, he's making fun of him, and he's totally embarrassing these guys. The guys are sitting there doing curls, and he's doing it with one hand and putting it over his head, and he's just mocking and embarrassing the shit out of these dudes. And people like to watch it and think it's funny. And he's still not standing up. I get Samson in my head, like, okay, is he standing up for the children live the Lord's Prayer? Right. Well, so why is this Philistine talking about strength? What's strength, Earl? Strength is what's needed for us to love. We need to be strong, like Jesus. They are weak, but he is strong, right? And the curse of David, it's very, 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 I can't overemphasize how very hard it is to be stronger than the weak. So children grow up to be strong. You know. Now Bathy is born healthy and strong forever, my lady. It's like, where I'm not talking about sex. I'm not talking about excessive, compulsive, egotistical expression. Okay, that would never save the children from the Philistines. But what happened then? Yeah. Okay. And so we learn from our quote unquote mistakes, because they are mistakes. We all make mistakes. You know, Samson. I shouldn't have trusted her. I knew she was from them. I knew she was gorgeous and beautiful. And she studied me like all women do. And she knew all the right things to say and all the right things to do. She knew everything. They studied him and looked at all his weaknesses. And so they thought they'd beat him by getting enough guys to all fight and kill him. And if that doesn't work, then you know. And they couldn't get Delilah to do it at first. So they took the jawbone of the ass and slaughtered all those, raping, marauding, murdering perverts that she thought she loved. Kind of like all of you guys, right? Shit. Yeah. But as far as UFOs go, and the superior technology is only as good as its use, guys, right? What you do with technology makes it superior, So there's one person, I have superior technology. It's a Samsung Galaxy 10 in this hand right now, filming my Space Ghost, cyberspace ghost, right? That's it. This is a superior technology. And when I connect with my Xbox 360 and my old Sanyo and stuff like that, the technology in this house, in this remodeled garage, okay, this is all the superior technology in the world. That may be all we need to know. If you want something to play with, go and buy yourself the toy. Because, baby, my time is priceless. I don't put a price on anything. Money's not real, right? Time is a precious gift from the glory of God. My cousin Bob Martin Nesta, if you know what life is worth, you look for yours on earth. So now you see the light. So stand up for your right, right? And this is how y'all want to be remembered post-apocalypse, right? Wow. That's pretty fucked up. The apocalypse is the restoration and the validation of the religious beliefs of the most violent sex cults in the history of the world. Europa. Okay. The Judeo-Christian faith corrupted by mass murders, the Roman Empire. Okay. That their mythology and their brutality has their economics, instead of obeying Jesus Christ, is taken over the world. Try to take over the world, Pinky, which it has corrupted the world. It's not really taken it over. It's just corrupted it to the point where it's like a disease that has us on the brink of not existing, right? And so you're just like, wow, that's pretty horrible, and this is happening, the climate change is, and what's the solution to the climate change? Well, it's forgive debt and trespass and love one another, but our heads are up our asses ever since the Paris summits and before. Right, for 80 years. It's been longer than 80 years, Samson and Delilah, Romeo and Juliet. That was an artistic expression of how horrible hypocrisy is in Italy. In Fair Verona, right? So it's based off of mythological people, but based off of actuals and factuals that he was criticizing because of like Titus and something's wrong in Denmark, and so it was actual factuals turned into social satire, right? William Shakespeare, and also we have the same thing with Mark Twain, right? With Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer, and the most, the kids' book was Tom Sawyer, but it's still pretty intense, Injun Joe and a guy trying to kill you and your girl because of his gold, and so it's very intense stuff. It's a kid's book, but holy shit. It's not but they have a lot of those kids, the 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 three little pigs and the big bad wolf and there's the stories are based on reality to tell people, hey, Peter and the Wolf, dum 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 dum, escucha me, right? They're like, and if you don't tell your kids about the wolf, you don't have a kid no more, right? You got Chelsea Theron as a crocodile next to the river, being the most evil thing in the world to Vin Diesel and the Fast and the Furious set. And it's like, and it doesn't have anything to do with you causing heart disease and cancer with your irrational, illegal, or, your irrational, well, I shouldn't say illegal, it's your irrational, excessive, compulsive, there you go, behaviors that are psychotic, macho bullshit. And the women get turned excited and the money gets divided. And now we're broken. It's no joke. And Glenn Beck's the most sensual person in the world. And Rachel Dawson, nobody knows. They've killed off most of the people that probably remember or know who Rachel Dawson is since then. Right? According to a lot of the things that we have with the information we might be getting out of China, right? They've decreased the population exponentially. They have all those empty buildings and all that. What do they plan on doing with those? I don't know. I'm not insane. I remembered watching that. I don't know if it was so much in horror or whatever of all the stuff they were doing in China. And then I thought, okay, well, they're self-correcting, because when they had the stuff with the cars and all the people are dying from all the pollution from all the cars, from the excessive compulsive economic behaviors, they killed the people that put in those business ideas, and then they totally restructured, went to public bikes and did all these healthier things. And I thought, okay, well, they're catching themselves, and and then they go build these gigantic, crazy train structures to go into the mountains. It's like, why didn't you just use a helicopter? And because we have to be in control. We have to be in control. Oh God, damn, they're insane. Yeah, they are. And so it's really difficult to be the focal point. I'm pretty certain, the stuff they gave me, the declassified information in Sierra Vista, that they all came and talked to me, and it's on the line and stuff like that, has a lot of classified things to it, because the way they gave it to me, the way I looked at it, analyzed it, explained it to them, and told them what was wrong and why they shouldn't have done it. It was better than Einstein, because Einstein with the whole thing, when they said that the sun is naturally baking the earth, and he theorized, Einstein supported the theory. I was like, that's not true. You're not taking into account the hidden bummer factor, the human beings that build New York and the heavier load and the train to carry the road. It's man's world, but it wouldn't be nothing without a woman or a girl, and all they think is with their dick, and they think they love everything that they think they made with their dick, and that's insane. But it's so there you go, right? So, yeah, Einstein, he's a very intelligent cookie. He's a sharp cookie, and he's a very decent, good guy. Okay, but he's no Krishnamurti, and he's no Tetsuo Suzuki, and he's no Sun Yat-sen, and he's no Earl Parsons. Now, we don't have as much information of the intellectual capacity to correct people with this kind of bad thinking and explain to them what it's going to do and why they shouldn't do it from Sun Yat-sen. But you got to understand, Sun Yat-sen died much way before Suzuki died in '66, and we have more information, even more so and more extensive, from Krishnamurti, because Krishnamurti passed away in the 1980s and had an extensive, great world teacher thing that a lot of people in Britain that were trying to do good, they're got to do right, trying to do right, like Alan Watts, who was also murdered with chemical poisoning through stuff. He tried to get away. He tried to live a healthy life. And all the stuff that kills all the people that live in the city, that smoke and drink and do like missionaries do, killed Alan Watts, and no one even questioned it. Like what happened with Bob Marley and his cancer and his melanoma. He's like, but he's brown and he's okay. But no one even questioned it. Okay. The city was hard on him, That's why Miss Birdsong told him, just go out on the beach and do and he said, I can't. I'm going to do evil, don't take a day off. I can't either. So he's a lot like me in spirit, He wasn't going to do things, quote, take care of himself to live longer. he was going to get up and try to get everybody to stand up and understand what Haile Selassie was doing and saying, and was being doctored by the CIA. And that courage, that strength, is way stronger than a 32-kilogram mop embarrassing bodybuilders. And Bob was probably about 5'7" or so. Yeah, he wasn't real big. Yeah, I mean, he was one of the strongest men the world has ever known. Remember I told you that dream I had when I was weak and he was in the government yard in Trenchtown, and I came over to talk to him and hug him, and I fell over and he had both hands and he just lifted and he just held me like that, like I did with Dante when I didn't want him to get violated at Three Springs. He was like about a 210-pound kid, and him and Brady were getting into it, and I went and picked up Dante over my head, and I was like this. I was fat, and so I was dating Amy, and I was depressed, and she was fucking around and making fun of me. And I was depressed because it was affecting the kids, and it was horrible. And I was trying to get her to stay home and trying to change our stars, and I worked. There was women that worked that were attractive and interested in me, which happened everywhere I went. And a lot of them were more physically attractive than Amy. But I always turned them down and said, and then tried to explain to them, my wife saw what Stephanie was able to do with the courts and the system to make our lives miserable by manipulating the economics and the kids, and she will do it, especially if I'm with somebody that's more sexually desirable than her, and it's not fair that he's having sex with someone that has a better job and is hotter than the people that are, because the people that were fucking her, okay, especially in Sierra Vista and with Nate Reynolds and all this, they had no intention on marrying her and taking care of the kids. They were just dick measuring with me because they wanted to, there was a corporate ladder to climb at NSI. It was one of the best places to get a job in town, and it could, when you top out, you get a salary when you get a house on base, and I mean on site and all that stuff, that it's equivalent of $80,000 to $100,000 a year, which is a good salary in Sheridan. You don't have to pay for your real estate and stuff. You just have to keep your position, and you get the house. You get to live on. That's why Bob Alley and all the rest of they were all trying to fuck Amy, because they didn't want Earl to take their position and take their house and take the coaching job, and And I kept trying to tell Ryan, and I thought Lauren was a nice guy, but no, he had the basketball coaching job, and I tried to help him so he'd be more successful at it and try to keep it and be able to keep it. And he was always lukewarm about everything. It's like, well, let me help you. I don't want you to take my job. I'm not trying to take your job and just try like I used to do with Nate. I'm just trying to help you do a better job. I care about these kids. If you don't have the same hopes and dreams and aspirations as you do other people's kids, you're a failure as a human being. Fuck. Come on, Tyler Sheridan, help us out. Start sucking dick all over the UN like you're looking for your car keys. Come on, motherfucker. You're funny. I know. If that doesn't work, suck the dick of the guy with the 32-kilo mop, right? And after that, maybe you could all learn how to line dance with the little Chong girl. She was so cute. She was adorable. They had the little room. It had a pretty wood floor. And, it's in this thing, and the mirror on the wall so she could see herself do her thing. Make sure she was doing it correctly, right? Like they have in a ballet studio, right? And they were putting on, what was the one they had? When Will I See You Again? And then what was the other one I watched? Because I like that song too. After a while, we run under a tree. I turn to her and she kisses me. I didn't watch all of them. I just went, oh, she's adorable. She's so cute. She's got to do. She's doing the line dance. She's got nice legs. Nice legs. Okay. Low self-esteem. You all have low self-esteem. You're not standing up for the Lord's Prayer. Everybody's got low self-esteem. The woman with the nicest legs in the world has low self-esteem because she won't recognize her as the Messiah. Right? Not much I can do about that, This is the best I can do, but given the circumstances, it's pretty fucking amazing. It's gorgeous. It's astounding. It's spectacular, immaculate. You couldn't think of nothing tighter if you could imagine it, right? So, I'm proud of the way that this body and mind expresses the beauty and the gratitude for the gift of the soul, my faith. I'm proud of that. I have nothing to be ashamed of, I've been the most perfect man in the 21st century on the planet, that's able to talk and walk, to Johnny Clegg and Skavuka, Talk to the people, walk through the country. Only you can see, touch me with your healings. Madula, Makaka. So I've got this, So I'm like, I'm very, very proud of Earl, of me taking my talents to South Beach, in the first person, talking about myself in the third person. I'm just being silly, but yeah. So I sat and watched those videos though with that guy, and him talking. In 7 weeks you can do this. It's like God, like I haven't heard that shit before. Just stand up for the Lord's Prayer. Then if you need to lift weights, we'll lift weights. I like lifting weights too, but it's really difficult for me because of chemical poisoning from the military perverts that sexually groomed and abused my family, compromised them. The presidents thank them, and it sucks. The women get excited. So it's like, yeah, dang. No, there's just no. You could go comment on that and say, please like and subscribe on my channel and watch my videos. I need the help in saving the children so we can all truly be strong. And it won't matter. It won't do a goddamn thing. It doesn't do a goddamn thing. It's like trying to remark on the people on Fox News saying, hey, maybe you ought to stand up for the apocalypse and believe in the living Messiah instead of get people to vote to kill over comic books and debating comic books. And they will not. That whole thing with the little stand, on the Trinity Broadcast Network. No, ain't gonna do a damn bit of good. The only focal point, the only hope we have for correcting quantum computing and artificial general intelligence is the guy with the best technology in the whole world. And right now it's bought in 2009 on clearance at Walmart, Samsung Galaxy 10. Boom, ba-toom, boom, boom, ba-toom, ba-toom, boom, boom, ba-toom, ba-na-na-na-na-na, right? And if you think I look crappy, that's because you are acting like shit. And you're a human being. A rose must remain with the sun and the rain. What's lovely promise won't come true. To each his own, to each his... And, our place and time, gave you guys me as the Messiah and gave me all of you as... You guys want to live the Lord's Prayer with me so we can all live in the kingdom of heaven today? Not today, boy. Oh, stewpot, they suck again. There's nothing like a dame, and there's nothing, there's not one. Okay, the only women I know, Marianne and Michelle, and Natalie tried, but she was only a teenager, and then they took her and put her into, Patty Hearst training and shit. And Patrick tried, and then they did the same thing to him by compromising him by trying to get him to protect her from military sexual predatory units here in Cruces. And and they're all, sexy men of God. Yes, sexy men of God. Goddamn fucking sexy men of God. Deliver us, Earl, from sexy men of God. I'm fucking working on it. God dang, this is hard, assholes. You have no idea how hard this is. None of you do. You don't have a clue. You have no idea what it's like to wake up every day being the only person that is making themselves publicly available to be truthful, kind, strong, courageous, and available so other people can have an example of how to be like Jesus Christ, how to be like Muhammad, and get totally ignored and abused by the worst arrogant perverts in the history of the world. And we have the capacity to globally take this and trend it instead of having that Cody whatever person that Natalie has on her YouTube, fly hyena, and it's, well, you're going to, and you're like sitting there going, serious fuckingly? This is like when we were driving to the Thomas Browning Memorial Library and she played for me, I just want a quickie, no scratches, no hickeys. I was like, I would knock every tooth out of that kid and tell him, you use my daughter for sex because you have a girlfriend that you think is better to keep for sex than her in another town. Okay. I will beat the living shit out of you and then have every parent, okay, that wants to get the autograph of Run DMC people and Phoenix come and tell you, no, motherfucker, just say, yeah, and come and kick your ass too. No, none of them kick their ass, but I can, you know me. It's funny, and I always tell everybody it was Warkondo and Rodney, and I was like, yeah, Earl, you think that, but the whole reason why NWA all left like that and didn't cause no static was they could smell the pheromones of the little Mexican guy. Oh, it's on we're a chemical level. So like what happened with the drug addict that came in and stole the thing and pissed in the bushes, and the lady went and told us came up there. So here he goes. He's doing this. He's just little Miss Kravitz came up and told us. And then he grabbed the thing, and Rodney and Wakanda went up to go. He was a little Mexican guy. Went out to grab him and pull him in. He was on, what was that stuff, LSD or whatever? You know, like the kids that laughed that punched me in the face when they were trying to get to Natalie at the Food City and Sierra Vista. Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, Joe Biden. You were there, right? Situation rumors. Yeah, this is what happened with Osama bin Laden. Well, here's the guy who, made videos for Osama bin Laden to contact him and see if he was for real or if he was a CIA operative. So the guy punches me in the face. I don't even feel it. They laugh and start sitting there saying, he's on PCP. That's it. PCP, not LSD. PCP, right? This guy was like on PCP or LSD or something, right? And we had Rodney and Orlando, big 2 6'4" black guys. And they both got his arms and he's slinging them like they're rag dolls, right? And I go, Al, because Al's big, He goes, yeah, hey, man, I'm the boss. You go out there and help him. I was like, seriously? Like with Chuck, with the Ming Jim and all that. So I go out there and I grab the guy by the shoulders, right? And I tell everybody he started slinging me like a rag doll too. And we brought him in, but we all brought him in. And it's like, and then I think I embellished the story to make everybody else feel good. No, he came in, we got him, and we set him down. And then the cops came, and they gave him a cigarette. And the little motherfucker burned my Reeboks in my bag from college. My recreation shoes, my exercise shoes. Because he was pissed at me because I was Mexican. And he was Mexican. Fuck. Just like the one motherfucker who came in and talked shit. I don't feel like making any flat top dingers rich. And I said, you got anything? No. Anytime we get flat sloppy Mexicans and Los Lobos comes out with a new album, we'll let you know. I was mad. I didn't mean to say that. I like Los Lobos, right? But he pissed me off. Like the whole thing about, it was people's. Wait. Nelda he said that, Steven Tyler and Mick Jagger are two of the sexiest men alive. And I was like, they look like Revenge of the Planet of the Apes. You in no way, shape, or form find me attractive, do you? This shit was funny. If we were a sitcom, I'd be hilarious, right? So I'm sitting there, and they're like, you regret that? No, I don't regret that. I was just being obnoxious. They weren't there. They didn't know. I was just making an assessment from, Steven Tyler and Mick Jagger? Serious? They're two of the sexiest men alive? Don't you think Dave Rodriguez, the Chippendales dancer, is a lot sexier than him? She thought I was one of the sexiest men alive. Oh, wow. I agree, but I was skinny. I was like 155, 160 pounds, But he was very sexy. I was like, I totally agree. But that was only with women that were intelligent, like Edna and Miriam and, women that are unintelligent. I mean, like all the self-righteous Christian women around here with their sexy men of God, and he's a pervert, and he's all that. Okay, I'll stand up to the Philistines so we can all live the Lord's Prayer, and none of your sexy men of God will, but they're the sexiest men alive. They sacrifice all so we can be free, right? Hey, go murder for a paycheck and a 401k. And you don't have to pay for getting your kid bombarded with radiation to assimilate or die to economic conflict. How sexy, right? It's sad watching them cry on TV. Because they're being mass murdered for propaganda and propaganda agendas. Okay, but a rose must remain with the sun and the rain, or its lovely promise won't come true. To each his own, to each his own. For me, there's you. Right? There was a earl. There were some toys. If they had met, they might have shared a life of joy. And that's not true, because I've been on Facebook and YouTube. I've been uptown, downtown, all around searching. Right? Peggy Pettis, when we dated, was sitting and telling me I act like Chuck, this ex-vet who's an asshole, wants to fuck everybody he sees and tries to spend money on him and talk him into it. And I said, I ain't no fucking Chuck. I proved to her beyond any reasonable doubts. I spent all my money, spent all my time shaving her dogs, ruining my work shirts, fixing her air conditioner, taking her where she wanted to go, spending all my money. She would tease me of sex, never gave me sex. And then she got so mad at me, she went and had sex with a rich guy in Cacho Hills and laughed at me about it. And I'm like, Okay, I am not staying here anymore, but if you need help, I will try to come and help. But why don't you get the money out of the rich guy in Picacho Hills who fucks you? Because I can't afford it. I'm trying to help my dad keep his farm. And then she'd yell at me, that's it. You got your dad in the farm, and you're just a bum who just hoodwinks your dad to stay. I'm like, wow, you're just like my family and I love you, but I'm not going to stay here. And I'm not, do you want, and she'd sit there and yell at me and then go, you want to have sex? And I go, no. And she goes, are you gay? It's like, no, you're mean. Okay, if I'm going to have sex with you, I want you to be nice to me. I want to be, I'm like Jennifer Lopez in Las Vegas. I just want some sugar. Right? I'll be doggone if I didn't work all day, baby. I'll be doggone. I work in chemicals that rot the paws off a bull trying to save people from being mass murdered and mass raped in Mexico. And what do I get in return? They sit there and say, let's test his Jesus powers and see if he can win the lottery so he can move us all to Grant County and protect us in Grant County while everybody else is murdered during the genocide operations of COVID. Like, wow, past, present, future operate at the same time. You'd think women would be able to see this coming. Like Kate Blanchett from The Fucking Gift, right? Isn't the women more in tune to be the Messiah and save us all from mass murdering, dick-thinking liars? According to the New World Order of the left, the far left. Huh? You guys are fucking assholes, right? I'm certain your technology does not work that good. Okay. I work good because I am good. Okay, if you're a liar and you're a manipulator and you manipulate people with money, your technology is going to be just like you. Hot. Why'd you go around secretly? When you was tired of loving me, the young hearts run free. They'll never be hung up like my fucker and me, right? You know who you is, and you know what you're doing. Now, if you love your kids, recognize me, stand up, and find a way. Find a way while I wait. I'll get through this. I'm tough. This is really hard. The military is the most perverse organization in the world because they need mass murder and war to stay in what they consider positions of power and authority. They are sick. They are disgusting. My job, get them to willfully submit to the Lord's Prayer and stop doing what they're doing. I was not born to mass murder them with technology. That was David Rockefeller and the Jets. Fighting the sharks till the bitter end. Love you guys, all right? Peace out, man.